I've just been hearing a lot of noises. And like all this weird stuff has been happening since the new neighbors moved in.
Lights go off all the time, honey.
It's happening again. The motion lights have been turning on and off every night.
Yeah, right.
I bet you it's gonna be that weird kid from across the street. Watch. Yeah, can you see him?
What the hell?
He's so creepy.
So, Sean,
Yeah.
be honest with me.
Okay.
You wanted to see this shitty movie, didn't you?
Admittingly, yes, I did.
Yes, giving everybody a backstory going into this. We were talking about Paranormal Activity 4 today, and I'm joined by Michelle.
Hello.
And for the first time on a review, Sean, or as he's known on the site, Wales.
Hello.
Sean and I just sent out like a tweet, like saying, "Hey, anybody who wants to be on this episode of the Pupcast, let me know." And Sean just went, "Well, I've seen Sinister. I can go out and see Paranormal Activity 4 if you want me to." And I was like, "No, you don't have to do that." And he was like, "No, listen, I understand. You need somebody to go and see this movie." I was like, "No, I don't need someone to go and see this movie." And he's like, "Well, the reviews have been terrible, but I'll bite the bullet for this." There's no bullet to bite, man. Stop it. It's like, I felt like the guy in this movie in the little Skype bubble trying to talk to his girlfriend and tell her to get out of the house. It's like, I'm millions of miles away right now. I can't tell Sean to not do this. I can't stop it.
Let me put it this way. The guy in the Skype bubble basically lives right down the road from her. If he wanted to stop her from this bad movie, she could. You can't put yourself in a cargo box and come down and stop me. I mean, even then, we were supposed to see this movie last weekend, me and two friends of mine. And before I got to my friend's house at 5, he said, "I saw the Rotten Tomatoes for Paranormal Activity 4. And I'm like, "Yeah, want to go see Sinister? Yeah, let's go see that movie instead." So we skipped out Paranormal Activity 4, saw it right after I got off work today, and I want to go back in time and kick that one Sean's ass for saying to you, "Yeah, I'll go see this movie."
Well, you could have just went with your friends. Bad movies are always better with friends.
Yeah, but let me put it this way. When I got to my friend's house, the consensus was, let's go see a good movie, not let's go see a shitty movie.
I don't know, man. It all depends on the audience. What was the audience like in this movie? Because, I remember going and seeing Atlas Shrugged Part 2 earlier this week, and the audience in that movie, if I had been there giggling with friends, would have kicked the shit out of me halfway through that film.
Oh.
Was the audience digging this movie aside from you, or...
Audience? You mean the 3 old people that were sitting in front of me? I'm not joking. There were only 3 other people in the theater besides myself, and it was an old guy and 2 old women, like in their 50s or 60s.
Holy shit! And you saw this on a Friday, and it's only been up for a week!
No, it was Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Probably kids in high school hadn't gone out yet. As well as,
Well, aren't they rated R, the Paranormal Activity movies?
I don't know, I'm 23. I can go into any movie I want to.
The Paranormal Activity 4 doesn't seem cool enough to skip school for.
Oh, no, it's not. I mean...
It did make less money on its opening weekend than any of the other Paranormal Activities, but that doesn't mean shit because it's a found footage film. So if one person goes to see it and he drops his wallet on the way out, they made their budget back right there.
Oh,
so,
not this time. I mean, the first one, sure. I mean, that was $15,000. You could take out someone's bank account. These movies have been in the millions of dollars worth of budget since 2010.
But this one, I don't think they funded it themselves. I think they had Connect Money funding this one.
Oh, no, not Connect Money. Connect Money and Apple. This was basically an infomercial for Apple products because...
Oh, fuck, man.
No.
Anybody who knows me knows that this is my one biggest pet peeve when it comes to movies. I understand you gotta make the donuts. I understand how a cheeseburger gets made. You have to fund a movie any way you can. But when you just do lazy-ass product placement, that nothing pisses me off in a movie more than that. Just lazy-ass product placement. This movie, I knew about the Connect, I didn't know about the Apple. Let's, before we get into all this, let's rewind. Sean, tell us what the plot of this, I'm put quotation marks on that one. Tell us what the plot of this Paranormal Activity movie is.
Well, Aaron, let me take you back in the time machine of 2010 and 11. The past 2 Paranormal Activity movies have technically been prequels. So, the Paranormal Activity 2 was a prequel to 1 by a year. The third movie was about, 12, 13, back in the 80s. This one's the actual official sequel, so it takes place after Paranormal Activity 1. This, spoiler alert, do we need to put spoilers or anything?
It's a review, so we're trying not to really... Well, oh wait, you mean for the previous Paranormal Activity movies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody who does not want to, that's one of those weird things. Which is like, if you haven't seen the previous ones and you want to see the previous ones, I don't know why you were listening to the review for number 4. They're all on Netflix, man. Go and see them.
All right, but anyway.
Go ahead. Anybody who doesn't want to, stop listening now. But yeah, the first 3 ones we're going to pretty much spoil.
Yeah, but basically, at the end of 1, or at the end of 2, the possessed sister that took the baby have moved across the street into a very well-established, very white neighborhood. And so, like, the demonic sister, goes to the hospital, and then this, like, creepy little boy who's talking to his, quote, imaginary friend who's solely not a demon.
Wait a minute. Is it, like, the exact same thing as 3?
Not necessarily. It's
not quite the same? Okay. All right,
no,
okay. Continue.
not totally the same. But, so anyway, the demonic mother goes to the hospital, and so the demonic friend, seeing the little demon, he's like, oh, I'm going to stay at the house for a couple days. So he interacts with the little kid in the family. The 15-year-old sister is like, he's creepy as hell because, he's a kid. He shakes people's hands. He talks to an imaginary friend. And, basically you can guess that Mr. Demon decides to have some fun.
Okay, so I have a question.
All right.
Do they at any point explain how the possessed Katie is able to buy a house or pay the electric bills?
Oh, no, that's a good question because...
Because, I knew that part of the plot. Like, I knew the setup for this one, and that is what just kept driving me nuts. It's, how the fuck is Katie, who never seems to dress herself in these and just wears nothing but the boy shorts and tank top, able to buy a house and pay the bills? And what exactly is she even doing in the house with the kid? Is she, like, going on grocery store runs for the kid?
She goes out and she buys the demon, like, demon Bix, and the kid, like, Lucky Charms. Because, that's where the cool prices are. That's, like, where the Amulet of Ra is. So, no.
Yeah,
like,
if Toby touches the Lucky Charms, like, if he touches the right one, does he burn or singe or something?
Oh, no. I mean, trust me. There are things in this movie that made absolutely no sense. Like, again, how is this part of the cult that was established in the last movie? Is it something else? Because
this
like
sounds like a terrible sitcom. Like
yes,
My Neighbor the Demon.
The upstanding white people and the demon. who all have MacBooks.
CBS would buy that shit in a minute.
It would be better than shit my dad says.
Charlie Sheen as the demon.
Isn't Charlie Sheen already a demon?
Toby, did you bring 2 women over again last night and murder them?
Insert laugh track here.
But, like, this movie, it's like, there are so many things that are confusing. Like, there are some plot twists that don't make entirely a lot of sense. The whole resolution, like, the whole third act, kind of like with the last movie, the whole third act just takes place in about 7 minutes. And it's literally, it's like waiting, boogie, 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 waiting, and for some reason, a Prius is scarier than the ghost that we never see.
Well, those things make no noise. Of course they're frightening. It's a stealth car. That's... Christy would have been way more scary if you hadn't heard the car coming. That was the Stephen King book, right?
I don't... Stephen King's, like, written 2 books about possessed cars.
Damn. Alright. But... Okay, yeah, and to give some folks some backstory, like, I personally, I really liked the first Paranormal Activity. I had a lot of problems with it, but overall, I really dug what they were doing. Second one, I thought they improved some stuff and got worse in some areas. Third one, I thought, once again, they improved some things. In fact, I was actually digging the third one up until that final act. The final act just comes out of nowhere and then just cuts off right there like that. Which, I mean, that's the thing about found footage films, is that everybody says, oh, well, they just cut off. And yeah, that's one of the downsides of the found footage format, is that someone has to find the footage, meaning the cameraman ain't gonna make it. So, yeah, I understand a lot of them cut off, but like in the first Paranormal Activity, you saw this stuff gradually getting better. Like, I love the pacing of the first Paranormal Activity, where it slowly builds, and it gets worse and worse. And it actually felt like it did have a third act that was the size of what a third act should be in that. Second one, also, you get, like, to a peak. You reach, like, a climax, you sell the climax, and then there's a little bit afterwards in which, things don't go so well. I didn't. The third one, I was digging a lot of it, except that the third one ends like that. Like it literally, like the third act is like 10 minutes, and it's like it leaves you with so many questions to it that so many questions just out of nowhere. Does this one? You're saying this one kind of follows a similar pattern to it?
Well, yeah. I mean, the third act. I know we can't say spoiler. Talk about that much spoilers, but basically. Yeah. There's that like glimmer of hope towards the end of the movie where, hey, things seems like everything's going to be okay, but then things start going batshit crazy, and then when it gets to the whole, like for example, the whole scene in Paranormal Activity 2 where Christy gets possessed and then they run into the basement and all that stuff, that's genuinely terrifying. They try and do something like that in this movie. It feels rushed. It feels contrived. It doesn't last more than maybe 3 minutes at most, and even then it's just it didn't leave the same kind of impact as the first two movies did, because I only had a problem with the first one because of the audience. The second one really was the pinnacle of their the movies. The third one, I'm not going to go into that one.
Yeah. What about the acting in this film? Because that's one thing that I actually really dug about the last movie, the third one, is that in the first one I didn't think those guys could act at all. Second one I thought they got a little bit better. The third one I actually really dug the acting in that one. What is the level of performance like in this movie?
It's kind of like kids on MTV, basically, in the sense that, well, I mean, it's not that bad. It's about, like, the main quote-unquote protagonist is a 15-year-old girl who loves Skyping with her boyfriend at, like, 3 in the morning. But, again, she's like, oh, that's so creepy. That's creepy. What the fuck is he doing? Etc. And it just seems kind of, like, repetitive what they're saying. And even then, though, it doesn't seem like it's perfect. It doesn't. It's a 15-year-old. Yeah, I'll give that. But even then, I've seen amazing 15-year-old actors and actresses before. This felt too stilted. Like the whole scares, the whole. Oh, this is genuinely disturbing. Watch me be disturbed.
Hell, I even like the little there are lots of good 15-year-old actresses out there. I even like the little girls from the last one, and they were like 6 and 8 or something.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. The actresses from the third film were great. The kid actors for this movie, they were great too. Like the ones playing Wyatt, who is the protagonist's younger brother, and then the quote Robbie, the kid across the street who lives with the demon spawn. They were good actors. The parents, decently good actors. Like there's this one scene where like their mother is in the house by herself and you genuinely feel terrified because she does a great job, but it's the protagonist and her boyfriend that really they don't really sell the movie that well.
Well, what about Toby the Demon himself? Because in the previous ones, in 1 and 2, it was a slow build. In the third one, Toby just wasn't having it. He decided to just start tossing furniture around halfway through the movie.
It's like, what happened all those years? Did he just get
He
tired?
mellowed out. He's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit in the kitchen and drop a pan. I'm tired of this lifting table shit.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Well, unfortunately, the 1980s was when Nintendo and Super Nintendo came out, so in the 90s he was just playing, like, Super Mario, the RPG, and then the N64 came out, so he was playing Star Fox. So by the time Paranormal Activity 1 and 2 came out, he's like, well, Final Fantasy 14 doesn't come out for God knows how long. I might as well go back to scaring people. In terms of Toby, his name's not Toby. They don't even give him a name in this film. He's just the quote imaginary friend. The
demon, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they don't give him that name. We just kind of call him Toby because that's the first.
Because of the third one, yeah.
Yeah, the third movie. But it does a good job. Like the initial booms in the night, things like that. There are very subtle things in the beginning of the film. And then when they use the Kinect actually does a good job of making things a bit freaky, but it does feel it feels too rushed at times. Like there's a moment, and this is like in one of the trailers too, where the third or fourth night the kid's there, she goes downstairs, she sees him talking to the Kinect, she's like, who are you talking to? She's like, no one, and then boom, you see some massive crap going on in the background. It's like, oh my god, there's something in here. Yeah, that all happens relatively quickly in the beginning things. It's not subtle stomp, 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 make some very still noise. It's, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and scare people.
Well, so far, I've been hearing a lot of positive, we've talked about some negatives, but I mean, I've it seems kind of like a mixed review right now. Like, you've got some positives, you've got some negatives, but you were just telling me that this film was absolute dog shit. What is it that is, like, pushing you towards the edge on this one? What is it that makes you just hate this movie from what you were telling me earlier?
It's just boring. I mean, that's the thing. It's, to me, and this is kind of like with the third one, and around the third act, it's just, it gets boring as hell. Like, for example, one of my major qualms with this movie and the third movie is that it just feels way too rushed. Like, for example, if you look at the time span, if you will, of the movies, like the first movie took place over the course of maybe 20 to 30 days. The second movie, the same, about 20 to 30 days. The third movie, a week and a half, 2 weeks. This movie, again, 2 weeks. And, you know, everyone's, well, the final third act happens like on the 14th or 15th night. There's that. The setup is kind of atypical because every scare that came about wasn't really that genuinely scary. It was more of a, hey, look at that thing that moved, or hey, look at that thing that, you know, bounced out of the ceiling. And yeah, there were a few very genuinely scary parts, but it wasn't, it's predictable. It's become predictable now because, again, it's all right, I'm sitting here, the lights are out, I'm waiting to be scared, I'm waiting to be scared. Oh my god, a fake jump scare where the cat jumps into the camera.
Wait, do they actually do the jump scare cat in this?
Oh, they have a cat, yeah.
God damn it! That is like the most obvious horror trope to avoid, the jump scare cat. It's like, I understand jump scares. I get it. They can even work at times. In fact, I thought there was one in the third one that actually kind of worked. But the jump scare cat, there is no... I mean, Community even did an entire episode parodying the jump scare cat. No one likes it.
Well, now we have the official jump scare cat in the Paranormal Activity movie. But, I mean, another thing that really didn't work for this movie was you have to think of the realism behind it. For example, in the first movie, you have just the one camera. And that makes it much better because you have very limited range. That makes a very more intense environment. Yeah. Second movie, it was the occasional handheld camera for filming whatever and the security cameras. Third movie, again, it made sense because it had, you know, cameras, big bulky ones, because the guy was like, hey, I can probably film a ghost on these. The fourth movie, it's laptops. All of the cameras are laptops and iPhones. So,
ooh, I'm not liking this.
I see where the Apple insert comes in.
And what makes it more awkward is, like, when the girlfriend's chatting or Skyping with her boyfriend, she's literally carrying the her laptop around, showing the audience the camera on the laptop, and she's like, yeah, look at this scary thing. And here I'm sitting in the theater thinking, you're holding a laptop filming something when you could have a camera, you can use your phone, you have other means of recording it, but you're walking around with a bulky laptop. That makes no sense. Oh, what makes it even worse is, like, before they have the quote-unquote security laptop set up, which is basically invasion of privacy.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah, basically the boyfriend, who's, like, apparently a MacBook savant, says, hey, I'm going to install this app on all of the MacBooks in your house to keep continuously recording things. So there's the one in her bedroom, the 15-year-old girl's bedroom, there's one in the kid's bedroom, there's one in the kitchen, and then they set up a hidden camera in the living room.
That's not creepy at all.
Wait, hold on. So the teenage boyfriend actually gets his girlfriend to set up cameras all around her house.
In the laptops. Yeah. Well, at first she's like,
okay, I don't mean to be too crude, but you know he hooked up some way for him to just spy on that shit. You know...
Oh, no, like at the beginning of the movie when he first shows her that he could do that, he's like, oh, my computer accidentally does this. It's not me really doing this. And, you know,
right.
I've Skyped with people before. I know how it works. So, yeah, he's basically talking out of his ass on that one. But, no, there was something else that really didn't make much sense, which was, and I forgot what it was.
Oh god, that's creeping me out more than the demon, honestly, is the idea that this teenage boyfriend is basically just ogling his girlfriend. It's like, I also need to set up one in the shower. Yeah, it's, you know, it's technical stuff. It's, you never know when weird shit's gonna happen when you're on the toilet. You don't know. It's, you know, technical stuff.
It's like he sounds like a bigger douchebag as the guy in the first
Boy, no one is a bigger douchebag than the guy in the first one. Honey, I think this demon is getting angrier because you're filming it. Hold on, let me zoom in on your chest.
Oh no, basically this movie was, the meme, oh hey, let me get my camera?
No, I haven't seen that meme yet.
Well, I've seen it a couple times on different websites, but basically this is the, hey, is that demon killing you? Hold on, let me go get my camera so I can record this.
Yeah, and the other ones, in the first one he keeps holding the camera because he's a douchebag. In the second one, it's security cameras. In the third one,
Mostly.
it's it's mostly security cameras. In the third one, it was mostly just cameras that he set up. He wasn't really grabbing any. So you're saying in this one, it's they purposely have to go and grab the computer to go and film the creepy shit?
It's not always the computer. It's if it's not the computer, it's the iPhone, because it's like, hey, let me get my iPhone. Click. Okay, now I can start recording.
It just seems so weird to me that the one thing that could bring Microsoft and Apple together was Paranormal Activity 4. That's the one thing they both looked at and said, hey, we can make money off this franchise. Let me ask you, huh?
No, I was going to say also, it doesn't really help that, in the beginning shots of it where it's all on the Skype stuff, the boyfriend can make comments. It's like, hey, where did you go? Yeah, you don't totally ruin the atmosphere of this thing. Don't totally ruin that, clock that just stopped in the middle of the hallway by you just spouting out random nonsense.
Well, let me ask you this about it. In, the second one, we got more of the origin of, the demon and why it went to Katie, and we saw what happened right after with Katie. In the third one, we got the origin behind it, even though it didn't really explain a whole lot there at the end, but we got some of the origin. So they each kept, building upon this world and, building the storyline. If someone actually cares about the storyline behind Paranormal Activity, does this movie add anything to it?
Kind of. Because there's one scene in this movie, well, actually there are maybe three scenes in this movie. For one, the cultists show back up, the coven of the old women show back up again. The demonic symbols, and they look up what the demonic symbols mean, and some sort of ritual that's associated with them. And then I'm not going to go into the details of the spoiler, but there's apparently an after credits scene, which I didn't stick around for. So yeah, there's apparently an after credits scene in Mexico where they find that the cult has branched out in Mexico, because this movie takes place in California. So in regards to the overlaying plot of these movies about this cult that worships this demon that takes the firstborn sons and stuff like that, and literally you could probably find a YouTube compilation that explains the connections between the movies.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you could go on Wikipedia and get just as much enjoyment out of this film as the actual movie itself. This movie, it kind of reminds me of, everybody on the site knows I'm a big comic book dork. And every year, one of the big comic book companies do some big crossover event. It's some huge, massive thing with a big, important storyline. And then they always put out one little one-shot issue, and they go, okay, well, this issue takes place between these two issues. So it's important, and then you go, oh, well, there will be information. Let me know what happens between these two things, and they'll be important to the rest of the storyline. And then you go and you pick it up, and you just go, there is no information in here of any importance at all. I just spent money on nothing. That's kind of the feeling I get off of, I was getting off of Paranormal Activity 4.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what really makes me sad about this, is because, it seemed like with the second and the third one, they were trying to branch it. They cared about the story. They wanted to build something. And with this one, it seems just like a cash grab.
Well, yeah, I think I've told you this before, where I think the best Paranormal Activity sequel would be an actual investigation. You have cops sitting down.
Exactly. Cops. That makes sense. It's, they even just showed that you can make a cop found footage movie earlier this year with, the Jake Gyllenhaal film, whatever it was. Anyway, but yeah, cops already have cameras attached to their attached to their cars. There's even a reality show out there that films cops in action.
It's like, wait, I got like a funny idea. I was like, what if like they keep doing the sequels and kept going further back to discover Toby's origins, and they had to like get like one of those black and white films and something.
Oh no!
They make Paranormal Activity 6 a silent movie.
Yes.
Just ding, 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 and like a woman freaks out and the title card comes up. What was that noise?
No, are you familiar with the anime Bacano?
Bacano. I don't think I am.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of stories taking place at the same time. Imagine a Pulp Fiction sort of movie where the plot is happening all at the same time and you see a different character. A Bacano Paranormal Activity where you see back in the 1700s where they resurrect Toby for the first time, and then it flashes back to like modern day New York where Toby is taking the streets of Manhattan and is singing New York,
Toby
New York.
takes Manhattan.
It'd be like Gremlins 2, only a much more grating.
So like Toby grows giant spider legs, and I can't even remember all the things that happened in Gremlins 2.
I was more calling towards the Frank Sinatra esque.
The Frank Sinatra ending to that.
Yeah, the smart one basically.
I'm picturing a Paranormal Activity Taxi Driver crossover. That would be awesome.
And the ending is left so ambiguous that people argue it after the movie over. Did he die? Is he alive? Is that a hallucination? What happened there?
Oh shit! Now that I think about it, spoilers for Taxi Driver to anybody, that final shot, Taxi Driver really could be taking place in the same world as Paranormal Activity. You know what? I'm declaring that right now. That is what is the major importance of this review. Taxi Driver takes place in the same world as Paranormal Activity. They exist together, and Travis Bickle sees the demon. It's all there. The demon tells him to go around killing people, tells him he needs to impregnate this woman who's working for the politician, and then at the end, he doesn't do it, so the demon's pissed and appears in the back of his car.
And then it tells him, go seek vengeance, go kill those people.
Oh, and Jodie Foster is part of the family bloodline. That's why he has to go and save her from the prostitutes.
It makes so much sense now.
Oh my god! Oh, that's the only fan fiction I could ever see myself actually sitting down to write. I want to see this happen.
Hey, you're the writer. You can write it then.
This is a fun game. What movies could Paranormal Activity coincide with?
I don't know. We can probably make Paranormal Activity coincide with My Little Pony just for the hell of it.
Friendship is deadly.
My Little Poltergeist.
Don't you die? Well, what would you give this movie? What's your rating?
I don't know. What's your rating scale? Because I'm only gonna say, don't go see this movie unless you're bored. Have a review show that you promised your friend you would do it for, or you can sneak in for free. Because basically, long story short, was I got off at work at maybe 2:50 today, and the theater that was showing it started at 3:05, so I had to drive about 30 minutes to get there, and I said to myself, if I can't get there in time, I'm just going to sneak into the back and just see the movie for free, because this movie isn't even worth my $7.
Holy fuck. Oh man, so far our rating scale, some people use the star system on screen. I'm trying to create one just for the recordings, because as I pointed out numerous times, when you see a truly shitty film, just saying out loud 0 stars does not feel good. It doesn't hit you right there. So I like to use the letter grade system of A, B, C, D. But after I saw Atlas Shrugged, I went, I don't know what the other ratings should be, but I know that our lowest at this moment is dog shit. So,
well, I'll have to give it a double dog shit for having some genuinely good moments, like the moments with the Kinect. There are a lot of things that happen with the Kinect, the infrared thing, that actually kind of make you go, what the hell is going on? A few other scares, too, are good, but it does not save it from an hour and a half of nothing but waiting to be scared.
Damn, double dog shit. I think we just found out what's below. I think we just found the new lowest rating on this. So, A, B, C, dog shit, double dog shit. Those are our rating systems at the moment. And also, one other thing I gotta throw out. Everybody go and listen to the VHS review that I'm gonna post up at the same time as this. The whole Skype thing, it was done by VHS over the summer, and I know a lot of people would go, well, that was just a few months ago. They're not going to, how dare you say they stole from that just a few months ago. They can make the Paranormal Activity movies in a weekend, and if they were willing, and it sounds to me like they had nothing going into this movie. They had no idea what they wanted to do with this movie. So, normally I would never do this, but yes, I am accusing Paranormal Activity of totally ripping off VHS.
I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, let's see. On June 23rd, it was confirmed that the movie started filming, and then VHS...
Bullshit! Oh! That lines up way too easily, then. Oh, I'm definitely calling bullshit on that, then. So, this film, it's a horror film. To sum up, you're saying that this is a horror film that is boring.
Yeah.
Has massive, oh god, what's the term for it? I totally forgot.
Letdowns?
Not letdowns, money.
holes?
No, plot holes. No, keep going, because these all match up. What's when you get money from someone to make a film? Massive product placement, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Like, there's Pepsi, there's Prius, there's Apple, Microsoft, Connect. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that was, like, really blazingly right there, because the biggest ones were Pepsi, the MacBooks and iPhones, and, of course, the Xbox.
You're making it sound to me like this is less of a sequel to Paranormal Activity and more of a sequel to Greatest Movie Ever Sold by Morgan Spurlock.
It's NASCAR, the ghost story.
It's NASCAR, the ghost story.
Narrated by Morgan Freeman.
That's, I guarantee you in the next movie, the way they're going to find Toby is they're just going to start posting stickers for companies all over him till they can see his body.
Alex, what's going on?